What's up, guys? Welcome back. So last week we recapped my first crush on a boy, the John Crossan III. I am in the first grade and I have this crush on this boy named John Crossan III. He is the dream come true. Side note, I actually found him on social media. What do you guys think I should do? Should I send him the video and say like, hey, basically it's your fault that I'm gay? Hey, real quick trigger warning. We're gonna talk about some gay shit and some trauma. We're gonna laugh, we're gonna learn, we're gonna do the things, but we're also gonna talk about some gay shit and some trauma. I gotta keep it real with you. Well, not always both, but maybe gay shit or trauma. It could be both, it could not be both. You get what I'm trying to say? Either way, we're gonna talk about some gay shit and or some trauma. So prepare yourselves. But for real, when you think about it, isn't that kind of cool to be somebody's intro into their sexual orientation? Like, hello? Or should I just leave them alone? Let me know in the comments. So I've been thinking, I reference my past a lot, but I really want to invite you guys into that time period. So let's relive my experiences together as a gay black boy becoming a black gay man. In my own words, of course. Okay, so you guys got introduced to 6-year-old me. Let's take a little bit of a step to 8, 9, 10-year-old me. What's wild is John Crossan III, I keep saying his full name, but just go with it. He was my first boy crush until like high school. Okay, so short story. My parents were entrepreneurs and for a few years they had some money. So we moved into this pretty neighborhood with this pretty house, and this is when I got introduced to my neighbor's cousin. So I had this neighbor who had a cousin who would fly in during breaks. And this was the first time that I met someone who moved like me. And he moved almost exactly like me. Because y'all know John didn't want me to. I had to move on. I'm actually going to come back to what I mean by my neighbor's cousin moved exactly like me. Let me stop calling him my neighbor's cousin too. What is his name? Y'all know I don't mind name dropping on this channel, but I honestly don't remember his name. What can we call him? He was a little chocolate boy. Let's call him CB. Right? Chocolate boy. Is that cool? We're going to call him CB. I can't think of anything better in real time, so we're going to go with CB. Yes, anyway, CB moved just like me, and I'm going to put a pin in that and come back to it because I think you guys need some details on what moving just like me even means. So by 4th, 5th grade, I realized that I was good at sports. I was picked first for basketball in the neighborhood. I was good. But I also, through my notes over the years, realized how to be the quintessential boy. But in the midst of learning how to be this boy, I realized it was going to be harder than I thought to suppress some of those eyebrow-raising behaviors. I have to say this here. Gay is not a behavior. It is an orientation. You cannot act gay. It is not a lifestyle. It is not choreography. It is not a standard. It is an orientation. Okay. Now we got that out the way. It was hard to be who I thought society needed me to be. If you guys remember from episode 1, I was talking about how I started to think like or assume I was thinking like the boys around me. But the tough part about that was I didn't understand duality, much because I was a kid, but also because there's no real standard for duality for kids. This or that. I played basketball, but I also played with dolls. And also the next episode is going to talk about this experience, but yeah. I played basketball, but I also played with dolls. So I was like, what is this kid doing? Like, who is he going to be? And I think it's human for adults to question the kind of adults that kids would be, right? You want kids who are going to grow up to be viable members of society. I get that. But the problem is, it seems like the focus is not on their character when they get old, how they treat people when they get old, their proximity to income that will keep them safe. It's really about, will they be straight? Will they have a machismo about them? Will they be revered and feared by friends and family? Like, that's the part. And that's so... But anyways. And by 5th grade, I think I really understood the art of confusion and how confusion will keep you safe. People are obsessed with understanding. If they can't understand, they'll usually trick their mind into thinking that they do. And in order to think that they understand, they'll just land on intrigue on their way. Like, I don't really get him, but it makes me feel comfortable to usher him into straightness. So I'm gonna just put him there. And once people are intrigued by you, and confusion usually leads to intrigue, whether positive or negative, once they're intrigued, they'll usually lean into the parts that make them feel most comfortable about you for themselves. And in my case, it was the parts that made me the everyday boy. Like, yeah, he plays with dolls and he distresses his clothes and he's really into fashion, which also in Atlanta has its own caveat. Like, a lot of guys are into fashion in Atlanta. It's kind of an Atlanta thing, but he also plays sports. He's also fairly aggressive. We'll just lean into the aggressive sports parts of him, And of course, I couldn't ignore the fact that in my notes, it was like I was legit taking notes in my head around all the other boys. Girls never had cooties for me. I couldn't afford for girls to have cooties. Girls had to be girls I liked. So any girl who liked me, I liked them back. Any girl who wanted a kiss for 3 seconds would get that kiss for 3 seconds. Any girl who asked me to be her boyfriend, I remember having 3 or 4 girlfriends at a time. Each period damn near had a different girlfriend. But in my mind, this was gonna keep me safe. But the mind trip was I didn't understand attraction. I actually liked the girls. I even found them attractive. I just wasn't attracted, but also I knew that I was attracted to boys, and I felt like I couldn't even explore what the difference was, right? So I just locked into the fact that I like this girl. She's pretty. This could work for the sake of my life and lifestyle that's necessary for me to find safety. I'll just lock in here, even though it's a very different feeling of attraction when I see a cute boy than when I see a cute girl. But hey, this makes me feel more safe, so I'm staying here. Hey, real quick, I hope you're enjoying the video. But can you subscribe? Thanks. I also think that I had an infatuation. I don't even know if infatuation is the proper word. I had a gratefulness to the girls growing up. It was like, thank you for perceiving me as straight. Like, thank you for affording me some more time in this safe bubble that I'm yearning to be a part of. Like, thank you. And so I think and as an adult, and we'll get there, but as an adult, I think I even confused that admiration and that gratefulness for bisexuality, for straightness at times, to confuse myself, because I was just like, oh my God, thank you. You are giving me the safety I am looking for. Thank you. Give me a hug. Give me a kiss. Let's go hold hands. Like, I like you. I want to be around you even more, because the more I'm around you, the more I feel straight. And yes, I get to be straight. Woo! Yes! That's how I felt. So we have some context, right? Back to this neighbor's cousin. Oh, CB. He had that performative girlfriend energy like I had. I remember one of my girl neighbors at the time, who was my girlfriend first. Come to think about it, did he take her from me?
Clock that T.
He took my girl. CB? Anyways, we would do some game that required us to kiss for 3 seconds, and he would like look at me, or I would look at him in too long. And I think because we were so young, we really didn't know the whole eye work game. Wait, maybe that's why gay men do the eye game as adults. I don't know if it stems from that or not, but when we were kids, we would do the whole, or you'd be hooping, like, I pick CB. Just to linger for a little bit, just so you know. But it was also something that wasn't easily picked up on by people around us, so it kind of kept you safe. I even remember almost kissing and doing the whole but it also wasn't the same jockish version of boyhood. It wasn't the pull your pants down. It wasn't the dry hunch in the hallway. It wasn't that energy. It was very specific. And I think what's interesting, because if you guys go back to the beginning of this episode, I said I didn't have any more boy crushes until high school. CB wasn't a crush of mine. It was just my first time not feeling alone. I felt like somebody else was navigating similar waters. And I think it played into my comfortability. And I think it also rooted this idea that attraction was secondary to comfort. And again, we'll get to those stories of college and adulthood that played a really big part. But it was like, I don't necessarily got to find you attractive as much as I just need to feel comfortable and not alone, because I often feel so alone in my thinking, like this island that I've created around my thoughts because no one else is out really saying anything that I'm thinking. And I don't feel comfortable asking. They don't feel comfortable asking. So we're all just in our own little closets wondering what's going on. You know what I mean? So by 5th grade, I pretty much learned that girls were who I had to be with, and I could have tension with boys, but it could never get physical. And as long as it was just tension, it was kind of like a release that I needed to interact with that part of me that I could never be, while also knowing that having a girlfriend or being who girls needed me to be was going to be vital to ding, 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 my safety. I moved from that neighborhood shortly after and never saw CB again. And what was interesting about it, I remember missing him and feeling as if I had lost the one person that was like me. And also in that same grief, if you will, I was kind of happy because I remember feeling a little more comfortable. And a lot of gay men, gay boys at the time can remember a time in which you were getting a little too comfortable and you had to draw it back. Like, I'm leaning into myself in a way that I shouldn't, because this is going to let people see me and I have to make sure I remain unseen fully. And I think a little piece of me was grateful, like, okay, Obio, that was that. Enough of that. Let's get back to focusing on the fact that you need to be this kind of boy. And action. So we have to have a question, right? As cliche as this question sounds, what do you think you could have possibly heard at that time of your life where you may have been going through similar waters that would have allowed you to feel more comfortable and confident in who you actually were? I don't know if there was something I could have told myself, but I think what would have inched me closer was someone. Actually, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think there was a thing I could have seen or heard at that time. I think because I had already an understanding of how society was set up, it was probably nothing I could have heard. I don't even know if me seeing other gay boys would have helped me. I don't know if I would have seen any other gay boys like myself would have helped me come out per se at that time, because I was just like I just knew that I was not going to be safe in my truth. So it was not an option in my brain. But I do think, I'm going back and forth. I don't know if something would have helped me. Again, I think seeing yourself does help. I almost feel like seeing yourself in those scenarios is jarring. It almost pushes you further backwards. Like, I think maybe if I saw myself and I saw other people who were not like me treating that person who was like me well, I might have felt a little more comfortable. Like, oh, okay, he's being himself in the world and also not receiving doom. Maybe there's room for me to do the same. Yeah. So yeah, not really a crush this episode, more of a mirror. But I will see you guys in the next episode. Keep creating space.